Welcome back to another slice of Britain's racing heritage. Nailed the turn. Although for this one you'll need the Forza Horizon 5 Super Speed Car Pack. It contains all these and was originally known as the Acceleration Car Pack, but apparently they've had a change of heart on the name. But one thing we know for sure is we love this little car. This is the Ginetta G10 RM from 2019. It has 450 brake horsepower, 434 foot-pounds of torque and weighs just a little bit over 2,000 pounds with a 6.16 litre engine. Despite this being a 2019 car, it does look pretty cool and looks a bit more like a classic because this thing, I believe, was originally made to commemorate Ginetta's 60th year of producing cars, which is very, very cool indeed. Going into the inside, it definitely does resemble that of cars of, I'd say, the 60s and 70s, especially with the sheer amount of dials on here and not one screen in sight. And now let's go ahead and take a listen. So here we are now in the upgrade shop. The first thing we're doing is jumping straight to conversion and of course over to engine swaps. We've only got one, which is the racing 7.2 litre V8. I'm sorry, this thing can have 850 brake horsepower in A class? Oh man, this thing's already going to get mad. Right, we'll go ahead and check out the drivetrain, so we can go ahead and make this thing all-wheel drive, which will take us just into the edge of S1, or we can go ahead and also twin turbo or supercharged swap this thing if we so wish to. Going over to aero and appearance, we have got just Forza Aero for the front, which is the old school Forza Aero, and for the back, I'm assuming it is the same thing? Well, yes, it is. It's just tiny little plastic at the back, which is not too bad, but also could be better. To be honest, a wide body on this thing would look so good. As for tyres, this thing starts out on stock tyres. We can go ahead and add street, sport, or what I'm going to do, a little bit of semi-slick, which does take us quite quickly up into S1, but we are going to go ahead and also make those tyres a little wider as well, just to make our life a little bit easier. I've also gone ahead and added a supercharger as well, but we do need, of course, those race brakes and some... Actually, no, wait a second. This thing starts out on race springs and dampers and stock, and that's its height off the ground? I mean, seriously, this thing looks like the King Kong of race cars. So after all that upgrading, we're now sat at £1,971, 479 brake horsepower, just a quarter of the ways into S1, and all that for 32,800 credits. So now we've got everything in place, I do need to sit down and tune this thing. We've got ourselves 5 gears, which is actually pretty decent, and I think that's a pretty acceptable gear ratio as well. So you never know, we might actually have a decent car in our hands. So now we're going over to the paint shop. We've got nothing in advance like normal, and we have a whopping paint choice of just one, which is, well, I mean, it's still a pretty nice paint choice. I'm going to give it that. Even includes the little bit that says Ginetta on the back, and the area where the tow hook is as well, just in case it comes flying off the road. Of which, knowing my driving style, might happen in the first turn. Now, a pretty cool thing about this is this Ginetta G10, the 2019, was, like I said earlier, built to honour the company's 60th year. However, this is also a remaster of a previous version of the car they had way back in 1965, which I believe is also used quite a lot, and has driven quite a lot as well. Now, if you want to find one of these 2019 cars, then you're going to have to order it specifically through Ginetta's website, because, well, you can't pick these up just as they are. Each one of these is hand-built to specification. So, yeah, I'd like one of these, but I don't think I have the funds for it. And away we go! We're up against a lot of modern day sports and supercars. We've got a Ferrari to our right, Aston Martin to our left, and we are just going to try and squeeze in the middle. First turn, we're currently up into 4th. Can we do any better than that? We are now up into 2nd. Okay, no, we have done better. Cool. But like I say earlier, this thing is a very limited run and is a hand-built car. So, due to that, we don't know how many of these have been made completely, because I don't think I can even ask Ginetta that, at least not in time before this video goes out, or we don't even know the price. So I would assume one of these would cost you quite a fair bit, and it is better than a BMW because apparently we are currently out in front of one. But a cool little fact about this is, like I said right at the beginning, Ginetta is a UK-based company owned, I believe, by a former Le Mans driver called Lawrence Tomlinson. There is also Ginetta North America as well, but it started right here, and I believe it's currently in Leeds. I was wondering what this thing kind of resembled on the interior, and now I think I've figured it out. It resembles a little bit of the Ferrari 250 GTO or the Ferrari 250 California, especially with the amount of dials and the wooden steering wheel. It also looks a lot like that one blue car from Cars. I think Cars 2, maybe? But anyway, final turn. The cars are nearby. We've currently pinged off a wall, and across the line we go. That was a very, very close finish when you think about it, because you see the cars are back there, but we did get ourselves a first place and a time of 2 minutes 6 seconds. Okay, after a pretty decent race and a lot of fun, we are now back over here at the upgrade shop. The first thing we're doing is throwing a massive 7.2 litre V8 into this thing. We're also making it all-wheel drive, which takes us straight up into S2. We're also making this thing twin turbo to have over 1,000 brake horsepower before we've even really done any upgrades. And we're going to try and make this thing a little bit of a drag build. And one thing we of course cannot forget, the good old drag tyres. So after all that upgrading, we are sat at just over £2,000 in weight with 1,356 brake horsepower. We're in S2 and it only cost us 97k. Although to be honest, it sounds kind of terrifying, I'm not going to lie. And now I've got to sit here and try and tune the entire thing, and I've got a feeling this would be a very good contender for a wheelie car. Or one could say a wheelie good contender for a wheelie car. Yeah, I'll see myself at the door for that pun. Alrighty, here we are now over the back of the first horse. Let's go ahead and see if we get a wheelie check. A little bit. Nothing too major though. Speed cameras. Yes, I know, we're trying to aim for one. So let's go ahead, get ourselves sorted on launch control, and away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we get out of this thing. I'm hoping it's going to be something good, because like we say, this thing is just over £2,000 with 1,000 something brake horsepower, and through the camera adds 224, and off the end of the runway adds 249 miles an hour. This thing is nuts. And as per normal, it doesn't stop. And now we're going to make this thing a little bit more mad, because we're going to go back over here, switch back to our stock springs and dampers, which are of course race, and we of course have to go ahead and change our car over from drag slicks to, where are they? They are just here, good old semi-slick tyres. Everything else is as it should be, so now we've got to go ahead and try out this thing for top speed. At this point, I'd usually have a weekly Forzathon shop for you. However, this video is currently being recorded in advance, so maybe next video. Well, hi there. Alrighty, here we are now over at the motorway. So let's go ahead once again, get ourselves on some good old-fashioned launch control and absolutely send it in this thing. Let's go ahead and see what we have for 1,400 brake horsepower, essentially. A lot of people usually ask me, by the way, why I keep rounding up the figures, and that is because, well, literally everyone else does it, so I'm going to do the same. And speaking of figures, the power figure of this thing is absolutely crazy, because if you look at the right-hand side, we're doing over 270, which is absolutely, oh dear me, turn. At the other side, 265, and a Jeep. I mean, nothing happens, don't worry about it. Although the fun thing is, now we have to deal with rain. Anyway, let's go ahead and go over to the speed camera and then a little bit of downhill and go and see what we can get out of this thing, because honestly, I am very scared of it. And through the speed camera we go, 274.7 miles an hour, going downhill 276. I think I saw 277 for a second. I could be seeing things, but definitely 276 out of this tiny little pocket KAZOO, which is honestly, that is crazy. I feel like this thing could go even faster if it wanted to. Now, this thing can go very, very fast in a straight line, but what about sideways? Let's go ahead and find out, shall we? We'll go ahead and throw it in to the drift zone, or rather attempt to. Come on, little Ginetta, you can do better than this. We know you can. Out the other side at 34,711 points and one wall. Not all of the walls, just that one. And now here we go, going back the other way. Let's go ahead and see what we can do. Got 34,000 speed, we are very, very sideways. We've kind of bounced off something and bounced off something again. And now the other side at 40,615 points, which is absolutely immense considering this thing's, well, it's tiny. But it is pretty cool indeed, and definitely, I'd say it's worth picking up for sure. If you want me to do videos on the other cars in the super speed or acceleration car pack, go ahead and let me know in the comments which one you want to see. And in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'll go ahead and see you all in the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Tech out. See ya. This makes you wonder if they'll add another Ginetta now.